Hi, welcome to your lesson on cube numbers. So in the last lesson we were talking about square numbers, and we said, for example, 4 squared, which we write with a little 2, means 4 times 4, which when we do that sum we get an answer of 16, and the 16 is the square number. Cube numbers work very similar. If I wanted to do 4 cubed, I have a little 3 there, and that tells me I have 4 times 4 times 4. Be careful when you work these out. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. Remember, if you need to, do your calculations somewhere else. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4. Add that too. Or you could use the grid method, 10 and 6 and 4. 10 times 4 is 40, 4 times 6 is 24. Add the two together. Remember to use the method that you like and you understand. Don't try to use someone else's method. So let's have a look at our other cube numbers then. 1 cubed, 1 times 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is 1, times another 1 is 1. 2 cubed, if we need to do the calculation, 2 times 2 is 4. And then we need to times by another 2, because remember we've got a 3 here. So we times 4 by 2, which gives us 8. So 8 is a cube number. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Notice how I'm doing it in sections rather than trying to do it all together. Then times my other 3. That gives me 27. So 27 is a cube number. Remember, these are the ones I'm interested in. And let's try 5. 5 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5, if you need to, do the calculation. 5 times 5 is 25. So carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Add the 2 we carried is 12. So we carry the 1 and we get this. If we want to do grid method, 20 and 5 make the 25. 5 goes there. 2 times 5 is 10. Add the 0. 5 times 5 is 25. 100 plus 25. 5, 2 and 1. So we get 125. So all of these numbers, 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, are classed as cube numbers. And again, it's your choice. You can either memorise them or you can understand how to work them out. When you see that little 3 up here, it means cubed. So you have to multiply that number by itself 3 times. And if you need to, use your long multiplication or your multiplication grid. It's entirely your choice. Later on this DVD, I will show you some harder ones that you can do on the calculator. So for now, have a go at the questions and I'll see you in the next lesson. Hi, welcome to your lesson on prime numbers. And in this lesson we're sort of going to jump back to the factors, so if you're not sure, re-watch the video on factors. I'm going to list my numbers: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So those are all my numbers. And let's put it onto a grid. And now on this part I'm going to put in the factors. Remember, factors are numbers that we can divide this one by exactly. So let's write the factors in green. 2 can be divided by 1 and 2. 3 can be divided by 1 and 3. Remember, we can't have fractions or decimals when we divide. 4 is divisible by 1, 2 and 4. 5 can only be divided by 1 and 5. 6 can be divided by 1, 2, 3 and 6. 7 can only be divided by 1 and 7. 8 divided by 1, 2, 4 and 8. 9 divided by 1, 3 and 9. And 10 can be divided by 1, 2, 5 and 10. What I'm interested in when I'm working out prime numbers is the ones that have only got 2 factors. That one, that one, that one, that one, and that's it. So my prime numbers are the numbers that only have 2 factors. So 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, 4 isn't because it's got 3 factors, but 5 is. 6 isn't because it's got 4 factors, but 7 is. 8 isn't because it's got 4 factors, 9 isn't, and 10 isn't. And if I went on, 11 for example can only be divided by 1 and 11. So 11 is also a prime number. And if you want to sit and work these out, some more of them would go 13, 17, 19 and so on. And prime numbers go on forever. So if you want to work out if a number is prime, list its factors. If it has 2 factors, it is prime. If it has more than 2 factors, then it's not prime. So have a go at the questions, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Hi, welcome to your lesson on square roots. So let's just recap our square numbers. We know from previous lessons that 1 squared means 1 times 1, which is 1. 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25, and we could go on forever. So the important thing is these numbers here, our answers, are the square numbers, and that's what we're interested in when we're dealing with square roots. The square root is like the reverse of the square. If I say 1 squared is 1, and my square root is a tick and then a line, and if I put a 1 in front of it, I'm looking for the number that I multiply. So the square root of 1 is just 1, because I do 1 times 1. The square root of 4, well, I do 2 times 2, so the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9, to get 9 I do 3 times 3, or 3 squared, so my answer is 3. Square root of 16, I get a 16 by doing 4 times 4, so it's 4. The square root of 25, 5 times 5, so my answer is 5. So whenever you look at a square root, you're always looking at this square number and trying to work out the number you multiply by itself to give you your answer. Although things like 16 we can make by doing 2 times 8, the square root of 16 is not 8, and the square root of 16 is not 2. That's not true. It has to be multiplied by itself. It cannot be multiplied by another number. And if we want to do a couple more, square root of 36, remember 6 times 6 is 36. so 6. 49, 7 times 7 is 49, so that's my answer. 64, 8 times 8 is 64, so there's my answer. 81, 9 times 9 is 81. 100, 10 times 10 is 100. 121, 11 times 11 is 121. And the final one you should know for your exams, the square root of 144. Well, 12 times 12 is 144, so there's my answer. So the square roots link with the squares. They're like reverses or mirrors of each other. Normally on any other questions higher with higher numbers or different numbers to square numbers, you will be allowed a calculator, and later on in the DVD I will show you how to use the calculator to work out the square roots of numbers that are not square numbers. So for now, understand how to make square numbers and understand that the square root, that you're just being asked what number you're timesing by itself to get that number inside the square root. So have a go at the questions and I'll see you in the next lesson.